And now, right to your host of this House of Musicians, Barry Smith.
Hey, fine listener. Welcome to this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101. We hope you enjoy the next hour with us as we do our small part to help promote musicians, bands, and, of course, venues. Gary LaBar, how are you this evening?
I'm good, Mr. Barry Smith. How are you?
I am doing quite wonderful. I'm stoked about tonight's guest. He has a new album that's been out, and we're going to play a couple of songs off his album, and I just love both of these songs. Please help me welcome Jason Abbott to the show this evening. Jason, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Barry? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, no worries. That's what we do. We want to help promote bands, venues, and musicians, and just have a good time doing it. We have a blast doing this show. So, again, it's an honor to have you on the show. Welcome to the show. Let's do this, Jason. Let's start. Let me start by asking you how you were influenced by music when you were younger.
Well, influence, it goes back to when I was a baby and lullabies, I guess. But some of the main influences that started me was my two older brothers. They both influenced me in music different ways. I remember my oldest brother, he's probably about 7 years older than me, and my father had a project pickup truck in the garage, and my older brother thought it would be amazing if he forced his little brother into the truck, turned on the radio in there, and made me learn every word to Rush's Tom Sawyer. So I can remember that, right?
That's a great start, man.
And I can remember being like, okay, like, I've had enough. He's like, come on, there's one more verse, man. You got this, right? And so that's one that sticks in my mind. And yeah, obviously a great influence. My other brother, who's in the middle of me and the Tom Sawyer guy, he influenced me in another direction with rap music. He was totally on the opposite end of the scale, and so I got the best of both worlds, I guess, right? And I think back when I was young, we all had that period that we went through, the breakdancing stage, I call it. So
absolutely,
yeah, those two guys influenced me really well. And to tell you another story about my other brother there, and him being in the big brother stage, and when we were kids, we always knew that person that their parents worked, afternoons or whatever, and all the kids would corral at their house while their parents were gone. And I can remember going to my brother's best friend's house, and his parents worked afternoons, so it was the place to go, and it got crowded up, so they wouldn't let me in, being the big brothers. And he's like, oh, we ain't letting you in. I'm like, come on, let me in, right? He's like, take off the AC/DC shirt and burn it, and we'll let you in, right? So they threw out some lighter fluid, and some matches, right? They're like, do it, we ain't coming in, right? The big brother thing. And so here I am, I doused it with lighter fluid, right? And I lit it ablaze, but then part of the way in, I changed my mind, and I went to step on the shirt, and it stuck to my foot. And then I was in the backyard with this burning AC/DC shirt stuck to my foot, right? My brother comes flying out the door, and he's like, stop, drop, and roll, stop, right? And he's trying to put his little brother out after he just made him light himself on fire, right? So a couple of funny stories that started
absolutely
influence, right?
For sure, man. And so did they want you to burn the AC/DC shirt because they were country folks listening to country, or? No,
they were rap guys, right?
Rap guys, right.
MC rap, right? They were into that stuff. And so, but then eventually, the rock and roll came back into my life, and it was, I think it was Blizzard of Oz that my older brother introduced me to, and it changed my life forever, right? Like it did to so many people, I think.
Absolutely, man. What did your folks listen to?
Yeah.
What kind of music?
They were into the good, Southern rock stuff, a lot of good stuff. I remember, my mom influenced me a lot in music going through her divorce. And it was all those inspiration songs, like I Will Survive, that one, right?
Yep.
And, Rod Stewart and all that kind of stuff. So big influence, with the people that put the music into me, right? Family, for sure.
Absolutely. And so now, okay, so your brother's definitely you're older. You know what? Older siblings are often the influence of people getting into music, their younger brothers and sisters or whatever, because they're out there, they're older, they're bringing home the vinyl and stuff and listening to it, and then you get attached to some of the stuff that they bring home. So it's usually family oriented that way. Now, when you were, so obviously you were an AC/DC fan when you were young.
Yeah.
And so now, go ahead.
Yeah, Ozzy was a big one for me. I was pretty much an Ozzy guy all around, right? When I was young, 12 years old, I had that jean jacket with all the Ozzy patches on it.
So would that be
my hair long and stuff, right? So.
Sure. Would that be Sabbath then, or was it later after Sabbath?
It was Ozzy and Randy Rhoads. That duo is really what made me want to start to play guitar. Right?
Good for you.
And to sing, right? So,
good for you.
Those two things for sure put me into where I started to play guitar. And that stuff is just crazy too, like Randy Rhoads guitar. I've never been that good, to play that, right? But I think both of the influences that Ozzy and Randy, as a singer and a guitar player, they had that on me for sure, and got me over that hump as a young kid to be able to learn songs, right, and actually play, right? So,
absolutely. Ozzy's one of those guys, man, that he could smell a hit. Maybe it's Sharon. I don't know who's doing it, but they can smell a hit song from a mile away. I don't know if there might be the odd bad Ozzy song, but geez, like all of them are so good.
Yeah, that's right, for sure.
So you're 12 years old now, Jason. You're 12 years old. You learned how to play guitar. How did that happen? And what was your first guitar and where'd you get it?
Weird story again. I had helped some friends of my parents as a youngster. I used to babysit for them at that age when, that's what we did to make extra money when we were kids. And they worked a lot. So I babysat for them a lot, to a point where I would get the kids off to school. Then I would go to school, right? And then I would go back to their house after school, meet their kids, get them fed dinner, and then I would go be a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this went on for some time while the gentleman was working, and they paid me, obviously, as a kid. And then in the end, they gave me a guitar, and it was a Vantage Flying V.
Wow.
So that was my first guitar, right? Because I was just that kid into Randy Rhoads, right? And I'm sure I went home and stuck, round white stickers all over it, right?
Yep.
Got myself a mirror and, started that way, right? From there, it just went on to where, you were constantly listening to your favorite songs and trying to play them. Back in the day when you needed an actual book to find the tablature, that kind of stuff, where you did it by ear, right? And, and then from there, other things come into play. You pick up the bass guitar, somebody's got a drum set. So you start to experiment on all those different instruments, right?
Yeah,
did you ever becomes a part of what you do, right?
Did you ever take lessons, or did you learn like myself, everything's from ear, from listening?
Yeah, everything from ear. I think I took one lesson, and I can remember going to my mom and saying I'm at a standstill, kind of, right? I can't learn anything else. So she got me a couple lessons, but it was like, it was in Whitby at this store, Guitars On. I'm not sure if you remember that, but the guy was just like, a wizard what he did, right? And maybe I was discouraged a little bit, but it was only a couple lessons, and then I just continued to do, learn things by ear, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I was younger and learning guitar, maybe my uncle showed me a few chords. Here's A, here's G, here's C. And then, of course, my dad bought me my first guitar when I was 12 years old or whatnot. So I'm kind of the same way. I kind of just learned by ear. Now, you're 13 years old now, and you started singing, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I always wanted to kind of play and sing. And I remember one of the first songs that I was able to play along with and sing was Alice Cooper, I'm 18, right?
Cool.
And so, chugging out to that. And, from there, I didn't do much singing. I had a close friend that I used to do some work with and stuff like that as a teenager. And he liked guitar, and he'd always be like, sing. He had a pile of books, right, with lyrics and, tablature and stuff. He's like, you gotta sing. So I did that a lot with an acoustic guitar. But it wasn't until I was about 18 and we, wanted to start a cover band with some guys, and the singer never showed up all the time, right? So I said, well, I'll get us through the songs. We'll still practice. I'll get us through the songs, right? And then, he just kept not showing up. So they're like, you kind of sing better than him, so maybe you should just put some effort into it, right? And be the singer, right? And so that's how I started to sing full time. And I was super nervous about singing in front of people. And it wasn't until, I got the courage to do it, and people and their compliments encouraged me to do it more and more, right? And then, so from there, it was really, after that cover band, from 18 to, 21, 22, going through the bars and doing that stuff and having all kinds of fun, I just grew tired of playing cover songs, right? And started to focus on my own music, which I didn't have to imitate anybody. I didn't have to, hit all those chords that I could barely hit in a night.
Well, the one thing about original music and writing your own songs is you're never wrong. It's always good because you don't have anything to compare it to. But let's talk about this. 2005 to 2007, I believe you were in a band, Sucker Shot. Well, this is pretty impressive. You opened for the Winery Dogs, Slaughter, Dr. Hook, the Killer Dwarfs, Harem Scarum. Man, that must have been pretty exciting. And where was all that happening?
Yeah, that was it was longer than what you have there. Sucker Shot was around for probably a decade. So after the cover band stuff, and decided to start to write my own music, there was some time where I concentrated on work and my young family at the time, and then after a break and stuff like that, put together just an all original band with some guys that eventually became Sucker Shot. So we released 2 albums with Sucker Shot independently. The first one was a 10-song, I call it a demo. We called it Demolition, but it was basically just let's record something so we can at least leave this as a business card type of idea, right? And then in 2007, we recorded a 3-song EP and released that as well. And it was about 6 years ago now that we were almost ready to record another album, and had all the songs written, all prepared. We were, looking for the right studio, and then just some differences within the band came about, and and that was that. But
Absolutely.
we definitely had a great time, doing that, and we were a hard working band even when we didn't have gigs. We were practicing every Sunday, and so we were super tight. It's a really cool feeling when you can go out there and just kind of kill it, right?
So, tight, yeah.
Yeah. And those shows that you mentioned, that we opened up for those big guys, we were well prepared for them, and they were awesome shows, right? 'Cause that's the reward for me in music, is to be in front of the people, right? That's the ultimate reward, and that's the payment to me. So those are great. Meeting Dr. Hook, right, in Toronto, that was pretty awesome. I brought my mom to that show, right?
Cool.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be his groupie that night, but good thing it didn't go that way. Just joking.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Right? So, yeah, fantastic times. Even with the guys that I was in with Sucker Shot, we had a blast doing all the stuff that we did, working as a band together and doing that, right? And everything was always just independent, and I call it, hobby type of stuff, right?
Sure.
There was a time when we were trying to make some money out of music, or trying to make something, or but I came to the realization that when you try to make money out of music, it can take the fun out of it,
Sure.
when you make it a business. So when I let go of all that and just wanted to do it for the fun and for what it was, it's been fantastic. So
definitely a lot better to do it, for the feeling of doing it and writing your own songs and doing that. It's definitely a lot better than trying to make it a business, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And too, that's what causes differences in bands too, right? Like, you're really pushing for a certain thing, and everybody has their different ideas, and it's like any type of relationship, right? So you work really hard as a group to make things happen, right? Yeah,
you spend a lot of
in the towel, and that's it, right?
Spend a lot of time together, and it does get a little tedious at times. Let me ask you this, Jason. First time you walked out on stage, do you remember where it was and how you felt? Like you said, you were nervous to sing in front of people, like a lot of people are. But do you remember the first time you walked out on stage and what that was like?
Yeah, for sure. The first time that I sang in front of people was at a birthday party for my mother. We rented a hall, and my mom was she loved a good party, right? So we rented a hall. She was 50, I think it was her 50th birthday, and we rented a hall and we invited everybody, and it was jam packed, and that was the first gig that I sang, and like I had said to you, nervous as hell, like so bad, but everybody came up to me afterwards. They're like, "Whoa, we didn't think that came out of you," right?
That's cool.
And even still to this day, I talked to a friend today that I haven't talked to in a while. He was a client of mine, and he said, "So what's up with the music?" And I said, "I released an album last year." And he's like, "Oh, cool, let me check it out," right? So he looked up a couple of videos online, and then he messaged me back. He's like, "Whoa, that came out of you?" So it's still happening, right? Like, after 35 years of playing music, right?
Yeah, and that's what keeps you going, Jason. That's what keeps you going. If somebody gets out on the dance floor when you're singing a song and dances, or sings lyrics to one of your own songs, I mean, man, like, that's a natural high, bud. That's what keeps artists going. That's why artists do it, because it's just such a natural high to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do this, bud. I know we're going to play two songs, and let's play a song. Now, you wrote both these songs, correct?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I love original music. I love songwriters. We're going to play both of these songs, but first, we'll play one at a time, of course. But
we can match them up, eh? That'd be fun.
Then it would be a little bit like rap, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so let's do this, Jason. Let's play one of your songs. I want to come back and talk about it and find out why you wrote it and maybe where you recorded it. Folks, I have Jason Abbott on the show this evening. We're going to hear his song called Shine right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
On yesteryears and how they fade away so fast. I just think of the future, live in the present, let go of the past. I'm far from done making mistakes. I can't change the ones that I've made. There ain't no more excuses to make. I'll show the world who I am, and I'm gonna shine down on you, down on you, and I'm gonna shine on everything that I do, There's nothing I can't accomplish. There's nothing I can't see through, and there's nothing that I can't do. It's my time to shine. I look back on all my fears and all the things I've never done. I've been way too scared to leave, and I don't know where I would run. It ain't easy facing fear in the face, but it must be done. It's time to build my stage and show the world who I am, and I'm gonna shine down on you, down on you, and I'm gonna shine on everything that I do, There's nothing I can't accomplish. There's nothing I can't see through, and there's nothing that I can't do. It's my time to shine. There's nothing I can't accomplish. There's nothing I can't see through, and there's nothing that I can't do. It's my time. I'm gonna shine down on you, down on you, and I'm gonna shine on everything that I do, There's nothing I can't accomplish. There's nothing I can't see through, and there's nothing that I can't do. It's my time to shine.
Hey, folks, welcome back. As Gary said, to this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101. We have the amazing Jason Abbott on the show this evening, and we just heard from his solo album, all original. We just heard the song Shine. Very inspirational song. Jay, explain to me how you came up with that song.
Thanks, Barry. Well, most of this album was written on piano. So I had a project that I was working on, and I was talking to the homeowner, and he had mentioned that he has a piano for sale, and if I was interested in buying it. So I had a look at it, and I was relocating soon. I said, okay, I'll buy that piano from you, but I need to pick it up in 2 months. And he's like, okay, no problem. So this little black, nice piano that I finally was able to bring home and started playing on, and everything just went to the piano. You could just, nice acoustic piano, you could just sit down at it and go. No plugging it in, no messing around with the sound, that type of stuff. And I wrote a lot of songs on that piano.
Cool.
In the time that I had it. So that song Shine, written on a piano, and so the words, it's really a message to the people out there that you can do anything you want to if you want it bad enough and you're willing to do all the things you need to do to get it. So that's really what that song is about in a nutshell. Just that shine on people, shine on everybody, and even when we're talking about the album, even the album in its entirety, for me, and I told myself, because I always wanted to make a solo album. To me, I looked at this album as, if this is going to be your last album, what would you want it to be? Because we all know too, it's not cheap to go into a studio, and, record an album. And, so I really went with that mindset of, if you were going to put out one album, how do you want it to represent you? What's the message, you want to send to your people that are going to buy it and listen to it? And, so, same with the song Shine and the whole album, it's meant to be positive, just to remind people that they're superstars, right?
Everybody's a superstar, Jason, you're right. And I love the positivity. I love that you named the album Love. I think that is incredible and very inspirational. And it's good to always be on a positive note like that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So that's good. Now, where did you record the album, bud?
I recorded with the owner and producer of Newcomb Studios, Adam Newcomb. He's out of Roseneath, Ontario.
Cool.
So he has a nice studio in his home, and the way we worked it out, it was pretty unorthodox for him. Me, I'm a worker guy, so it's like I want to go at this. So when I went in to interview studios, when I talked to Adam, I said, okay, I want to record this album, and I'd like to do it like we're punching the clock. I'd like to start March 1st, and I'd like to go every day of the week, 9 to 5, and take the month and record all the stuff and get her done. So, and Adam was used to, people having to do it on the weekends, people with limited budgets having to do it a little bit at a time, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm just like, let's do it. I need a month, right? And he said, I can totally accommodate that. And the whole experience was like that. It was fantastic. Like, it was just me and him in the studio, 9 o'clock. I'd show up, about 5 o'clock, I'd be heading home, right? And we just worked all day at the whole album, right? With that being said, we had I played most of the instruments on there. We had my good friend John Owens come and play the drums on the album. Yeah, fantastic drummer, super awesome human being, and he came in and killed it right out of the gate. So I played piano and, played along with the songs while we captured the drums first. The first 2 days, he killed all the drums, and then it was just Adam and I for the rest of the month. So it was a great experience to work it like that, and it worked out great. It wasn't too much, and it was just fantastic. Adam's a great guy, super producer, and I'd tell anybody go there and spend time with him doing what you love to do. He's just a super awesome guy.
Isn't it amazing, the feeling of being in the studio? I've recorded a few songs myself, and just it's so addictive to want to go in, and a lot of times with me, maybe not so much with you, but a lot of times with me, I'll write a song at home, and then by the time it gets into the studio and complete and different musicians playing on it, it's almost not the same song I wrote at home on the acoustic. It's just so weird.
Yeah, for sure. It's totally like that with me too. Yeah. I think that's the magic about doing it too, right? When you go in to do it, like you got a good idea of where you're heading, but what happens in that moment is the magic kind of stuff, right? And
absolutely, because people add stuff onto it, or you might have an idea, because of course we don't write every instrument, all the notes or the tablets for every instrument before we go in the studio at home. We go in with an acoustic, a track on our mind that we strung to and play, and then you start adding stuff to it, and it's just incredible. It's complete, and you've added stuff to it.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I really enjoyed too is because for a long time I delved into home recording myself, so bought a lot of equipment, spent a lot of time learning how to use it, and never really getting a result that I was happy with.
Right.
Doing it at home. So being able to go into a studio and do it like I did, and I worked really hard to go in to be able to do that, right? And planned it for a long time and saved my pennies, and but to go in and he just pushes all the buttons and you just be a musician,
Yep.
that was really good too, right? Where I could just play and focus on what instrument or what part I was trying, right? And
yeah, man, that's the producer's job. They add all the magic, they add all the sugar to it all, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's always such a great feeling. Did I see you in one of your pictures playing a red Thunderbird?
It's an Explorer. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Aren't they almost the same guitar?
They are almost the same guitar. Yeah.
Man, a red Explorer. That thing is so killer. I don't have one. I have 56 guitars, but I don't have an Explorer, bud. That thing's so killer. I'll have to keep my mind open and get one of those things. I love that guitar. Where'd you get that?
I actually got that off a good friend of mine, Joe Barlow. He was the guitar player in Hail the Villain. You heard of that band, I'm sure?
I haven't.
No? Oh, nope. Dude, you got to check into some of that stuff.
I will. I'll check it out.
Joe Barlow worked at Long and McQuaid forever, and we became good friends. And yeah, he reluctantly parted ways with that guitar to me. And, I think just because of the relationship we have is the reason why I own it now and cherish it. I haven't played it in a while either. It's an amazing guitar, and I got to dig that out tonight. Very thankful.
There you go.
With you.
There you go. I just brought that out to the forefront for you to pick it up. It's just such a gorgeous guitar. So what were you doing a lot of live gigs to promote your album before COVID happened, or did you do the album during COVID?
Right. So as I was going into the studio March 1st, 2020, COVID, all the lockdowns were just starting to happen. Like I came back from Florida right into the studio, and I was riding my bike in Florida. But we'll talk about motorcycles.
Good for you.
So right into the studio, and then everybody was like staying home and all that stuff. And what I really wanted to happen on this album, Love, was I wanted all the musicians that I loved to be a part of it too, right? One of my best friends, bass player, Dan Vermel, female Michelle Alexander that I have another project with, Joe Barlow that I just spoke of. I wanted all them guys to be on the album as well, but with the restrictions and all that stuff, they weren't able to guest on there, right? Which is one thing that I was a little disappointed about with the album, that I couldn't have them on there, because that was the whole thing right from the get-go, to have all the people I love on there, right? That are musicians that support me, stuff like that. So the album came out July of last year, 2021, and I haven't done any shows to promote the album, unfortunately.
As of yet.
Right. and my outlook is like, through all this stuff, and we're just starting to, open back up and be able to get out there and play some shows. But we talk about the reward, right? And being people in front of you, singing and dancing and loving it, right? The whole experience. So for me to go out there and do that lately, I'm not going to be rewarded. The people aren't going to be rewarded. And the way I look at it is like, the world is what it is. And, so we'll release the album, we'll sell physical copies, and we'll give everybody enough time to know the songs, learn the words, and learn their dance moves and get them ready and stuff, right?
Sure, before you get out there and start playing them live. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I'm going to really appreciate when I do get out there, because there has been this time, is that everybody's going to know it, and it's going to be fantastic, not just for me, but for the people that, the hundreds of people that love the album, right?
Absolutely. But
so.
Absolutely. Good for you. It's like I say, there's nothing better than getting in and recording an original album. And I always say this to the artists on the show, it's something that's going to be there forever. So after you're gone and your kids grow up, and then the grandkids and all that, it's always there for them. So that's another reason I love recording.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so rewarding as a musician to be able to have that under your belt, right? To be like, yeah, I finally did that. I wanted to do that. I set it out. It's done. Right. And with that album, and not saying that this is my outlook, but if I was to never make another album again, I would be okay with that, because I put everything that I needed to into that album. Right?
Yeah, man. Good for you. Yeah. Such a great way to say it. Such a great way to think. Let's do this, but I want you to tell everyone where they can find your music online, social media, and music platforms. Let everybody know where they can find it, buy it, listen to it, and then I'm going to play my favorite song of yours.
Right on. Okay, so they can go to my website, www.jasonabbott.music. 2 B's, 2 T's in Abbott. They can find me on social media. They can text me at 905-440-5297. You can even call me if you want. It's a physical copy of the CD. You can order it through me, through my website, and we can also send it to you electronically. So what I've been doing is, if someone buys the physical CD, I will ship them the CD, for free anywhere within Canada. And I will also email them all the files for download. So if they don't have a CD player, they'll still have the be able to listen to the CD and have it in their hands. Open up the insert and read the lyrics and all that stuff like we used to do. Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome.
That I wanted to achieve on this was to make an album that people would want to listen to in its entirety, like we used to, like all the amazing albums that you just push play and it's on till the end, right?
Yep.
And nowadays you get, it's so easy to just push skip on your Spotify playlist, onto the next song or whatever, right? And hence why I've only released 2 songs off the album to the public in form of video, because I want people to see that and then be wanting to listen to the rest of the album, right? Get it in their hands, unwrap it, pull out the lyrics, feel it, smell it, that kind of thing, right? and I've really achieved that, and it's just in my small little world that this happens, right? But me as an independent musician, I get to make those decisions in that call, right? So that's super awesome to me too, right? I think I'd give the CD away to anybody that said, I'll listen to it full in its entirety with the headphones on, okay? I'd give them 2 copies for free.
Right. There you go. Absolutely, man. No, that's what it's all about for sure. Let's listen to my favorite song of yours, folks. I have Jason Abbott on the show this evening, and we're going to hear his song called My Life right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
I haven't told you lately, you're beautiful. Sometimes I might forget to tell you that you're so amazing. You're always there when I need you the most, and you're the love and the light in my life. Yeah, you make life so beside me, you're wonderful. You're always true, and everything you do in my life, I'm so grateful. One thing you need to know the most is you're the heart and the soul of my life. Yeah, you make life so good.
back, fine listener. We have Jason Abbott on the show this evening, and we just heard his song, My Life. Definitely my favorite song. Jason, I'm interested to know if you were inspired to write that in honor of a single person in your family, and maybe it trickled to the rest of the family, or was it written specifically for everybody in your family?
Yeah, family and friends. You know, that's definitely what that song's about. It's written all over the lyrics on that one. But you know, again, just a message, you know, to the people in my life that will be listening to this album. You know how important they are, and how much I adore them in my life.
Absolutely, man. I love your positivity. I love your inspirational positivity towards your family and your friends. That is such a great song. And again, that you named the album Love. That just speaks for itself. Let me ask you this question. I know you haven't done much promotion as far as live gigs yet, but you will for this album Love. But let's talk about the band, I believe Sucker Shot. Tell me, this is one of my favorite questions I like to ask an artist. Tell me a crazy story, kind of putting you on the spot a bit, but tell me a crazy story that's happened to you on stage, on a tour bus, just a crazy story.
Yeah, put me on the spot, Barry. I can't think of a crazy story, but one of the big experiences, and it's funny that I can let you know, is that when I used to play cover songs, there wasn't much nervousness, not much anxiety, and as I started to switch over to play all original music, I used to be so nervous, right? Before I'd go out there and leading up to the show. And I don't know what it was, but when this started to happen to me as this, showtime, we're at the gig and it started to approach, like I would have to urinate constantly. Just every 5 minutes, it would felt like I had to pee, right? Like just this nerve. It was crazy, right? So everybody used to joke about it in the bands that I was in there, right? They're like, "Where's Jay? It's 5 minutes before the show. He's in the washroom," right? And then I'd totally feel like I had to urinate, but I didn't, right? So it's just my nerves, right? And it was kind of weird at first, but then I learned to embrace it, right? So I'm like, yeah, all right, going to the washroom again, right? And then, when you get to a point where, you released a couple albums of originals, all of the people that know you don't play covers anymore. And, now I can, go to a gig and feel confident, know that the people are there to hear the songs that I put on that album. Right.
Right.
And,
sure.
So, when you grow into the comfort of what you're doing, and it's like anything in life, right? You're always uncomfortable when you're doing new things. And, so, you push through all that stuff and get to a point where things are comfortable in your life. And that's when good things happen. Right. So,
sure.
So that's one of the things that, people always laughed about. I remember one time the bass player dropped his guitar right on stage during the song. That was pretty funny. I laughed. He didn't.
No, I bet he didn't.
No. And he was the guy too that would always say stupid stuff on the microphone. He wasn't the singer, right? And so he walked up the microphone to say something silly, and it dropped out of his hands, right? Boom, on the stage, right? And that guy was like a albino. He was like the whitest, palest skin guy you knew, and he was so red and embarrassed.
So red. Did he pick it back up?
Yeah, he picked it back up, strapped it back up,
and just kept playing like nothing happened.
Yeah, but turned red like a red pepper. Let me tell you, right? It was funny. So.
And good thing the guitar wasn't damaged. So that's always a good thing, because that hurts.
Yeah, that's right. For sure.
Jason, there's a part of the show I like to do called, well, Gary LaBar, What do you think?
Well, I think the bass player should get strap locks. That's number one. But anyways, I think...
You know it, Gary.
Yeah, Jason, listen. I'm a big advocate of original music. I'm not a cover band guy. I was never in a cover band. I never played in a cover band in my life. It's all been original for me. And I have to say, your music is very, very commercial. And that's an asset. And it was a pleasure listening to that. The production was out of this world. What I especially like, the drum sound. Most drummers, as you know, it's all about me, and they overplay. And this particular drummer that you use, that kick and snare was tight with that bass and that vocal line. And, you know, I thought the songs were put together great. The harmonies, the lead vocals, your work on that. I'm just into, it doesn't matter what genre the music is. If it's commercial, it's sellable, it's airplayable, that's pleasing to the ears. So I would call you a pop rock artist with a little bit of Christian in there. So I just wanted to put that out there. I wish you the best. I think your music's fantastic, and I hope you go far with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gary. That's an amazing compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And coming from Gary, he's a renowned professional musician. Gary, thank you for that compliment for Jason. That's awesome. Jason, what can I say? Let me know when you're out playing again. It's been an honor to have you on the show. My wife and I love shows. We love venues. We'd love to get out and see you do a gig to promote this album. Once you get back up and at it, please let us know and we'll get out. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We'll follow your progress, Jason, and maybe have you on the show further down the road. Thank you for being here, bud.
That would be amazing. Thank you for this opportunity, Barry. And I just wanted to say to you as well that I know you do a bunch of wonderful things in the community. So thank you for that, and keep doing what you're doing. And one day I will see you on two wheels on an open road somewhere, hopefully.
Love to go for a ride with you anytime, man. That'd be awesome. That's very, and thanks for the kind words. Thanks again for being here, Jason. And to the listener, I say, thank you for being here. Always dance and sing, and let the music bring your soul to the surface for all the world to see. Until next time, have a shuffle your feet kind of week, and good night. You've been listening to This House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.